You don't want to go crazy and create 7 videos a week, and then after 2 months you burn out. What you would be much better off doing is creating 3 a week and doing that for a year. So best practice wise, the general rule of thumb technically would be 3, but it all really kind of depends on where you're at. With a higher publishing frequency on YouTube or any platform, you're able to accumulate that data much quicker, and everything really kind of snowballs and compounds on top of each other, which just speeds up the rate of growth.
If you're a marketer or marketing manager looking for tips and tricks on how to succeed with video marketing, then welcome to our podcast. My name is Alex, and with me here I have video marketing strategist Daniel. Today we're going to give you the complete guide to video marketing, everything you need to know in 2023 and beyond. Now, recently it was reported that surprisingly 85% of marketers are not happy with their results when they use video in their marketing. And why is that? Well, it has to do with how they understand the term video marketing in the first place. So to start this off today, Daniel, can you explain what video marketing actually is?
Yeah, so video marketing ultimately is the same as any other kind of marketing, just with using video. So for all marketing, the objective is to essentially get the target audience to perform a particular action, whether that's a purchase, an opt-in, just a view, whatever it is. Every form of marketing all has an objective equipped with it. Video marketing is just leveraging the power of video to get that same end result. The videos can come in various different forms, can be published on various different platforms and presented different ways. But at the end of the day, the video marketing is just very similar to any other form of marketing. It's just done using video.
And how does that really work? How does video marketing work?
Ultimately, video marketing comes down to kind of like what I mentioned, any other form of marketing. A lot of the issues that arise from video marketing and the lack of results has to do with not having things really thought out and planned out. So video marketing, basically what you do is you would define your marketing objectives, being what results you want your marketing to help you obtain. And you work that in within the confines of video creation and video content. So depending on what your objectives are, depending on your target audience, that will kind of dictate the way that your video marketing strategy really gets laid out. Everything kind of starts from the same place. It all starts from defining the objectives, defining the target audience, performing some research with regards to the type of videos to create and whether or not that type of content is going to help you build an audience or accomplish your objectives. So it all starts from that kind of same place. And then once that's been determined, then you kind of branch out and get a little bit more specific with regards to your strategy, being, how often you should be publishing, where you should be publishing, how the videos should be presented, what they should be about, things like that. So that's really, in a nutshell, how video marketing works. You're just, like with every other form of marketing, defining your objective, making sure that your objective matches with your target audience, and then determining how you can get your target audience to perform that action that is your objective through the use of video content.
Kind of sounds, since it's sort of like any form of marketing, so you have your target audience and your goals and although it's the same framework, how would you say a video marketing strategy then would be different from any other marketer? Because you could say, look, I already have a marketing strategy, so it doesn't really sound like I need any video marketing strategy because I can just use my existing marketing strategy and just produce videos. Do you get that question sometimes?
Yeah, definitely. So there are a number of different advantages to using video as opposed to maybe written word. First and foremost, a lot of people now online really prefer to consume content through the video format. They don't tend to read blog posts as frequently anymore, and they never really did, but it just used to be a lack of choice that used to exist on the internet, whereas now you have a lot more options, a lot more choice with regards to how you can actually find answers to questions or consume content. So a lot of people nowadays like consuming content through the form of video, and also all of the platforms are built for video now, right? Every single platform, even the ones that weren't originally built for video, have branched into video. You see Instagram, it used to just be photos, then they went to video, then they went to vertical video to compete with TikTok, which has always been video, but Instagram is a prime example. Twitter or X, they're getting into video a lot more. Facebook, right? So every platform really is kind of heading in that direction and has been heading in that direction for a number of years now. And if they're heading in that direction, that means there's demand for it. So people consume video content now more than just written word content. And another thing with that is with video, there's more personalization in a sense, right? I'll get into the AI stuff in a minute, but with video, there's more personalization. So when you see somebody on camera, it's a lot different than just reading words. And obviously, some people are going to still prefer to read written word content, but the nice thing about video is it's a lot easier to go from video to written word than written word to video in terms of your marketing strategy. So video, people just tend to enjoy consuming content through that medium a lot more. And it's oftentimes a lot more personal for people. The platforms are all built around video now, so it's all heading towards video. And what I mentioned a minute ago, AI, that really has thrown a wrench into written content. I used to own blogs. I know plenty of people that have owned blogs and done very well with blogging over the past decade plus. And AI content generation has completely thrown a wrench into everything. Google doesn't know how the heck to handle it, so they're creating their own AI answer engine. Bing with their AI, and anything to do with text can now be generated by essentially a robot. And that obviously removes a lot of authenticity behind it and increases spam, let's say, or content output, the noise. Things get noisier. You can't really use artificial intelligence to just create videos. The thing with videos is, just like with written word, people will not consume the content if it's not good, if they don't find it to be valuable. When you can just basically generate a bunch of text and it floods the market, then it becomes a lot harder to sift through the content that's not valuable versus the content that is. Video, you can't just click a button and then have a video generated by the AI. And even if you could, it's not going to be good. The quality is going to be low because if you've ever read any AI content or listened to a text-to-speech generator, it's terrible. So video is also a lot more future-proof.
Yeah, absolutely. An interesting thing is that I've got people come to me and say, we really want to make YouTube videos. And then I'm thinking, great, you've already figured out that YouTube is your most effective and optimized channel for distributing your videos. But then once we get into chatting about it, I'm realizing that they might just say that because they've seen a bunch of good videos on YouTube that talks about maybe similar things to their own niche or something like that. So YouTube isn't necessarily the best place for them, but they're already starting off with, this is where I want to publish my videos, but they don't necessarily know why. So where should you publish your videos generally?
Yeah, so what's interesting is YouTube obviously has a really strong hold on long form video content, but when it comes to short form video content, you have so many different options. And one thing on the long form content that I should note is platforms now are starting to expand into long form content, right? I think TikTok has given people the ability to post videos up to 5 minutes. Twitter or X, they have live streaming capabilities coming back and long form video publishing capabilities. And so long form content for the longest time has just been on YouTube. Now it's starting to expand outward, but for short form, it's on every platform. It's very accessible. So where videos are published, you have YouTube, you have Instagram, you have TikTok, you have Twitter or X, and LinkedIn. You can also have Facebook to an extent, probably not the best platform nowadays, but that's an option. So you have a bunch of different options. Basically, every single popular platform online, any popular kind of social media-esque type platform gives you the ability to publish video content. The platforms that you actually should publish to will depend on the things that we talked about earlier. So your objective, right? Your goals with your marketing and your target audience, because certain audiences are not going to be on every platform. YouTube's a pretty safe bet overall, and also they, like I mentioned, have the foothold on long-form video. So if you're creating long-form video content, you want to post it to YouTube anyway. It's also the second largest search engine in the world, so a lot of traffic that you can gain from there. But when it comes to short-form in particular, Maybe you publish it on LinkedIn because you have an audience that's on LinkedIn, but you don't publish it to Instagram, for example, or TikTok, and vice versa. So maybe you have a brand where your target audience is not on LinkedIn at all, so there's no reason to publish video content to that platform. The platform that you publish content to will all depend on, like I mentioned, your goals and your target audience. You want to publish content to the platforms that house the largest number of people that you are targeting. So then your marketing efforts can obviously be a lot more effective and reach the right people and things of that matter.
So if you were asked the top 3 platforms to publish on, what would they be, you think?
Generally speaking, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram would probably be the top 3. Again, it depends on your niche and your objectives, but those would be the top 3. In 99.9% of cases, those are going to be the best platforms for you to publish your content to. Right now, anyway, who knows? But for right now, those 3.
Yeah, right. I mean, I could ask you why, but I think you've already covered that, right? So
yeah. I mean, they just have the most people, right? Basically. So yeah, those are probably the best 3.
So there's really no point in producing videos if they're not going to get you any results or very little results. And it's very easy to kind of get excited about a new, really flash-looking video, and then that emotion actually spreads it out to the organization and everyone's just really happy with this new video, but often it's not measured and it does its thing and a lot of people are happy with it, but it doesn't necessarily get the results. So what we're asked is, how often should we publish our videos? And what would be your recommendation, Daniel?
Yeah, so obviously, like you said, people get excited about the prospect of creating video content, but I think a lot of times they don't really realize that it's not really a one and done thing. Not with organic video marketing in particular. It's not really a one and done thing. You need to be publishing content consistently. Now, in terms of the actual frequency and how often you should be publishing videos, this is kind of a really personalized type of question, because there are a lot of things that go into publishing video content. If you're outsourcing, then obviously your budget. If you are outsourcing or you aren't, your time, right? How much time do you have to actually create the content? Obviously, anybody who's creating content for a business should probably be outsourcing, just to free up time and for various other reasons. But talking about publishing frequency, a big part of that is time. So with regards to the ideal number of uploads per week, it really kind of depends on the individual circumstance. Best practice-wise, on YouTube, you would ideally post 3 long-form videos a week. And then the same thing really with all the other platforms. There's no real cookie-cutter type answer to this. I just know with regards to YouTube, 3 long-form videos a week is a really great way to kind of jumpstart things. And 3 on all the other platforms as well is a great way to jumpstart things. And what's really nice is you can mix in other content alongside the video content. So for example, you could technically do 3 videos a week on Instagram, 3 short-form reels, but then you could have image-based posts on Tuesdays and Thursdays, let's say. So if Monday, Wednesday, Friday is video content on Instagram, then Tuesday and Thursday could be text-based posts, right? You don't have to, you can mix other forms of content in with video really, really well. But I guess overall, 3 videos a week on every single platform is ideal. If you can do more, then technically that is better, but it is a balancing act between, this is a long-form game, right? Or a long-term game, I should say. You don't want to go crazy and create 7 videos a week, and then after 2 months you burn out. What you would be much better off doing is creating 3 a week and doing that for a year. So with a higher publishing frequency on YouTube or any platform, you're able to accumulate that data much quicker, and everything really kind of snowballs and compounds on top of each other, which just speeds up the rate of growth. It all takes time no matter what, but the likelihood of you achieving better results faster increases exponentially with the upload frequency increasing as well. If you're only doing 1 video a week on any platform, it takes a longer time to build up that data. It takes a longer time for the algorithm to kind of determine what your videos are about, what your audience is, whether or not people are liking your videos, right? Because if you're only getting 10 views a week, that's not a very large sample size, for example. So publishing more video content all around is just going to better position you to achieve more results or better results from your video marketing efforts.
Yeah, and I get excited about this because with our new video marketing system, we look at the whole video marketing strategy and how we can be more effective and really increase the volume of videos from, say, one shoot. So we can end up with 30 videos from one day of shooting, and that covers you for several months potentially, depending on how much you want to publish. And you can also branch those videos out into shorts, YouTube shorts, TikTok videos. So from one day of shooting now, you can really set up a video marketing and a video content machine. And growing a YouTube channel, for example, is not so difficult anymore. And of course, we've kind of talked about YouTube now, maybe naturally because it is the video platform to some extent. But there are also other video strategies where you might not even do much on YouTube, but you have more of a localized, a different angle and a different publishing strategy. So it all depends on what you need and it all depends on your goals, but also kind of where you're at right now. So yeah, and I guess the other question too is you've kind of worked out how the whole thing works, where the videos should be published, how often the videos should be published, but then what should you produce videos about? That's the simplest question. That's kind of banal, but often that's still quite a big challenge to figure out. Okay, I know we need to produce videos, but what are they going to be about? I know cat videos take off on YouTube, so do we start shooting the cats around the office or whatever? But
yeah. So just closing out on kind of that publishing frequency thing for a minute here, and then I'll get into the topics. Just because you can only publish once a week, it doesn't mean don't create video content. It doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to get results. It doesn't mean any of that. If you can only do one video a week, whether it's a time or a budget constraint, whatever the case may be, do one a week. It's better than none, right? And it only takes one video to get a new client for your business or 5 leads, whatever. So if you can't do 3, it doesn't mean just don't pursue video marketing. You should still do it. You should still start building now, because even one video a week over the course of a year is still over 50 videos, and that's a pretty good foundation to potentially, maybe you ramp things up. And so then you've already kind of hit the ground running when you're ready to ramp things up. If you can do more at the start, then obviously that's a good thing. But if you can't, that's not a reason not to pursue video marketing in general. Now, with all that said, talking about what to actually create videos about. So kind of following the theme of things that we've talked about here, it will depend obviously on your goals and your target audience. But the biggest mistake that people make when it comes to actually finding topics is they create videos and topics that people just genuinely aren't interested in their target audience or in their niche. They don't qualify the topics, they don't research them beforehand, and they end up creating videos that don't get seen because there's no level of interest present. You have to create videos on topics that people are actually interested in watching, because that's the only way people will watch them, right? You can't create an audience out of thin air. They have to be there. So you have to create videos on topics that will help serve that audience. And there are different types of kind of topics that lend themselves to different parts of the funnel, for example. So review content traditionally was lower down in the funnel than more informational type content. That's typically top of funnel. But oftentimes the ideal route to take is to go through that informational and entertainment kind of route, because that content obviously is more valuable typically to viewers. And the whole objective with video marketing and any form of marketing, more so than just getting your desired result, it's the way that you get that desired result, and you do that by providing value. So the topics you create videos about need to be providing value to your target audience. You do that by qualifying the topics beforehand to ensure that there's an interest level there. If there's an interest level there means that there's people that want to see it, of course, right? So in terms of what to actually create the content about, that's going to depend on your niche, your target audience, and your objectives. If you're I don't know, a healthcare company specializing in a particular area or a particular niche, then your content should reflect that. You shouldn't be creating random cat videos around the office. You should be creating informational content that's going to be valuable to people. The objective is not to go viral. The objective is to build up a video library of high value content that people can consume, and that will help you strengthen your relationship with the individual, so then they can become a lead and then a sale for whatever it is that you offer. If it's a service or a product, whatever it is, that's the objective. Build up a video library that can gain organic traffic over time and continue gaining you that traffic for months or years to come. It's not to try and go viral by having a funny cat video and then trying to tie that in with your marketing strategy, because ultimately people watching a cat video, for example, probably aren't going to really be interested in your service. They might not be, members of your target audience. When you go viral, you expand outwards, whereas ultimately you should be trying to really be specific with the audience that you're serving, and that's going to limit your ability to go viral. But again, the objective should never be to just go viral. It should be to build up that video library, creating this valuable content on topics that people are interested in your target audience, and just repeating that process. So that's what you should be creating videos about.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it could sound like all of this takes a lot of time, and, with good marketing and good strategies in general, you do need time for a lot of things to work. But what's exciting about video is that you can also have instant, you can have an instant impact too. Obviously, that might be more around advertising, but also video isn't just something that necessarily has to go viral, or a tool that you need to build up over time to get results. You can sort of plug in video at any part of your marketing, and it's like a turbocharger. Like it kind of boosts anything you're doing, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that you raised a good point there about paid marketing. That's obviously an option with video marketing as well. The difference between organic and paid, aside from obviously the investment of funds, is the objectives that you create and your goals that you have based on each type of marketing should be different. You're probably not going to build an audience that's active and engaged using paid advertising. It's probably not going to happen. Just psychologically, the way that people engage with paid versus organic content, the way that they go through that process of discovering that content and consuming it, it's completely different. So there hasn't been a lot of success stories with just creating a paid advertising campaign on AdWords for a YouTube video, for example. Same thing with TikTok, Instagram, whatever the case may be. But if your objective is to generate leads, then maybe you look more into the paid advertising route to supplement your organic marketing actions. People do only do paid advertising with video marketing. The problem with that is just there's not really that consistent flow of new content, value-driven content going to the target audience. And then also just from a general branding perspective, you want people to be able to actually get a rough idea of what your brand's about and be able to strengthen their relationship with your brand. And you can only do that by publishing content. And you can only publish content if you publish organic video marketing related content, really, because how many ads are you really going to run out? Because with ads, the goal is obviously for every dollar you spend, you want to be making $1 plus. So it's a little bit different with regards to how it works. So paid advertising, for video marketing, it's good for particularly lead generation, but not so much so for audience building. You want to kind of go organic with that. And the nice thing about organic is you cover both avenues. You can do the, brand strengthening and positioning, the organic marketing, you build up that content library, and you can generate leads and sell your services through the organic video marketing as well. Whereas with paid, it's obviously an option depending on your situation, but you can't really build an audience there, and you're not really going to be building up a video library. So all you're going to really be doing is just hopefully generating leads. So it's not really a one or the other type thing in terms of you wouldn't just want to do paid advertising for your video marketing. You would want to have organic going, or you can just do organic, but I wouldn't just do paid. because it's, you flick off the switch, you stop the campaign, and everything stops. Whereas with organic, that doesn't have to happen.
Well, I guess that covers everything in a very broad strokes of what video marketing really is. So if we were to do like a quick summary of that, Daniel, how would you do that?
Yeah, so video marketing is just like any other form of marketing. You have your goals, you have your objectives, you have your target audience. The difference is just that you're leveraging the power of video content to achieve those goals and objectives and to reach your target audience. It works similarly to other forms of marketing as well, but again, you're just using the video medium to really reach your target audience. In terms of where videos are published, they're published on the platforms that will best help you accomplish your goals. Typically, this is going to be YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, but if you're in kind of more of a business-oriented niche, for example, then you probably look to LinkedIn, maybe even X, but typically it's going to be those three primary platforms, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. You don't have to do long-form content. It's recommended, obviously, but you don't have to, depending on what your goals and objectives are. In terms of how often videos are published, again, just like what I was saying, it will really kind of depend on your goals and objectives. Have I said that enough? It'll depend on your goals and objectives, and it'll depend on your target audience, and also your time, if you're outsourcing, your budget, things of that matter. Ideally, you want to be publishing 3 videos per week to every single platform, but work within your abilities. If you can only do 1 video a week, then do 1 video a week and do it for the entire year. You'll have over 50 videos built up over the course of the year, and that's a really great place to be. Just because you can't do 3 a week, it doesn't mean you don't pursue video marketing. It only takes 1, right? You could post 1 video, and maybe that 1 video becomes a lead for you, and that lead is worth a certain amount of money, and then you can reinvest those funds back into more video marketing, and you can kind of spiral and snowball all your efforts from there. So ideally 3 videos a week per platform, but do what you can. And then with regards to what the videos are about, they should typically be informational in nature, because the goal with video marketing is to provide value to the individual who's consuming the content. So typically, the people are going to be looking for answers to questions, information, things of that matter, entertainment to an extent, but primarily that informational content. So the topics should reflect that. They should also be qualified, because you don't want to create content on topics that people just aren't interested in, and you don't want to be chasing virality, because you'll attract a bunch of viewers that really just aren't relevant to your goals, and they are not going to become leads. There's no point in getting 1 million views on a video on TikTok if not a single one becomes a lead at the end of the day. And then you can employ paid advertising if you want to. That's an option, but that's not for building an audience. That's not for really building your brand. That's more so just for strictly lead generation purposes. You shouldn't only be doing paid. You should have organic going alongside paid, or just organic, because organic video marketing can help you accomplish everything. Audience growth, brand positioning, lead generation, things of that matter. So ultimately, that's really what video marketing is all about. Sorting out your goals, publishing to the right platforms, publishing on a good basis, and publishing content about the right topics that people are actually interested in, and potentially supplementing that with paid advertising.
Great. Thanks for wrapping that up. So our motivation for starting up this podcast was video marketing is such a huge field, and I think it's still very new to people, even quite seasoned marketers. So going forward, we want to just really explore this topic with a bunch of episodes, and we want to talk about, for example, why video marketing isn't working for you, and other things more like, how to 10x your content output and take your video marketing to the next level. Stay tuned. We'll be publishing more of these coming up. So, thank you for listening.